Welcome to our Middle East briefing program. Today, we bring you a heartfelt story from Israel, where Herut Nimrodi, the mother of a hostage abducted by Hamas 2 years ago, remains hopeful yet anxious. She still doesn't know if her son Tamir is alive or dead, but she believes that President Trump's peace plan might help bring all hostages home. Herut keeps the hope alive for families affected by this ongoing conflict, urging action and peace. Next, we look at the global picture of women's participation in peace processes. 25 years after a UN resolution advocating for women's involvement, their presence remains limited, and violence against women near conflict zones is rising. Despite some progress, setbacks like funding cuts threaten to undo these gains. UN Secretary-General Guterres calls for more resources and commitment to ensure women are part of peace negotiations, emphasizing that their voices are crucial for lasting peace. Finally, diplomatic efforts are underway in Egypt, where Israel and Hamas are holding indirect peace talks mediated by the US. These negotiations aim for a ceasefire, hostage releases, and disarmament, with some initial agreements made. However, disagreements over key issues, such as troop withdrawal and governance of Gaza, make the path to peace complex and uncertain. Both sides are cautious, but the international community hopes these talks can lead to a breakthrough to end the conflict. Please continue to watch for more detailed coverage. BBC reports the heartbreaking story of Herut Nimrodi, whose son Tamir, an 18-year-old Israeli non-combat soldier, was abducted by Hamas on October 7, 2023, during Israel's deadliest attack in history. For 2 years, she has been haunted by uncertainty, with no confirmation of her son's fate, alive or dead, while she clings to hope that a new peace plan, proposed by Donald Trump, might finally bring her son and other hostages home. Her emotional recount reveals the last moments she saw Tamir, terrified and barefoot in pajamas, before he was taken into Gaza, and highlights her ongoing struggle with grief and hope amid the ongoing conflict and destruction in Gaza. As families like hers rally and advocate for negotiations, she remains steadfast in her belief that this peace initiative could be the final chance for their loved one's return, even as the trauma of that day and the subsequent 2 years weigh heavily on her. The Associated Press discusses the persistent challenges faced by women in conflict zones, marking 25 years since a landmark UN resolution called for equal participation of women in peace processes. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres emphasizes that, despite some progress, such as increased female peacekeepers and women leading mediation efforts, women remain largely absent from peace negotiations and decision-making tables. Meanwhile, violence against women and girls continues to escalate, with millions living dangerously close to conflict zones. UN Women's Executive Director Sima Bahous highlights recent gains in gender equality in certain regions, but laments the global resurgence of misogyny and the detrimental impact of funding cuts on vital services for women and girls. Both leaders call for renewed international commitment, urging nations to prioritize women's participation, protect their rights, and ensure that gender equality remains central to peace-building efforts, asserting that the future does not belong to those opposing equality. Foreign policy reports that there is a glimmer of hope for a ceasefire between Hamas and Israel, potentially leading to the release of hostages and long-term peace, but significant uncertainties remain. U.S. President Donald Trump has introduced a comprehensive 20-point Gaza peace plan, which includes Hamas disarming, the release of hostages, and an international transitional governance structure overseen by a U.S.-led stabilization force. Despite Israel's public support for the initial phase of the plan, key issues such as Hamas's disarmament, future governance, and the scope of Israeli troop withdrawal remain unresolved. Indirect negotiations are underway in Egypt, with both sides cautiously optimistic yet wary, as Israel continues military operations and Hamas's willingness to fully accept the plan is uncertain. The negotiations are complicated by disagreements over the timeline, the future role of Hamas, and the broader political implications for Netanyahu's government amid ongoing war crimes allegations and internal political pressures. Meanwhile, families on both sides cling to hope, with Israeli families petitioning for a Nobel Peace Prize for Trump, and Gazan families enduring the devastation of war, highlighting the profound human toll of the conflict. The South China Morning Post details the indirect peace talks initiated between Israel and Hamas at an Egyptian resort on the eve of the Gaza War's second anniversary, amid ongoing violence despite U.S. calls for a ceasefire. The negotiations, led by Israeli negotiator Ron Dermer and Hamas's Khalil al-Hayya, focus on a phased ceasefire, hostage releases, and partial Israeli troop withdrawals, with most parties reportedly agreeing on initial terms. The talks are bolstered by international mediators from the US, Qatar, Egypt, and Turkey, and are seen as a rare opportunity to break the long-standing deadlock, though significant challenges persist. Israeli strikes continue, killing civilians and complicating efforts to establish peace, while the international community, including Egypt's president, emphasizes the importance of maintaining regional stability through the US-led peace framework. The discussions also touch on sensitive issues like Hamas's disarmament and future governance, with some officials warning that prolonged negotiations or unresolved disagreements could derail the process. Amidst the turmoil, families of hostages and victims remain hopeful, and global voices, including the Vatican, call for proportionality and the protection of innocent lives, illustrating the complex, layered human and political stakes involved in this fragile diplomatic effort. According to BBC, Cardiff University has recently defended its decision to establish its first overseas campus in Astana, Kazakhstan, despite concerns raised by the University and College Union, UCU. The union expressed worries over Kazakhstan's human rights record, especially regarding the treatment of queer individuals, and criticized the rapid pace of the campus's development, which they feared could damage the university's reputation. Cardiff's Vice-Chancellor Wendy Larner emphasized that due diligence had been followed and highlighted the strategic importance of this expansion, viewing it as an opportunity to strengthen transnational education and Wales's global presence amidst financial challenges that led to job cuts at the university. She also pointed out that the Kazakhstan campus was partly funded by the government, which is providing scholarships, and that the university's involvement in the country was a step toward educating future leaders aligned with shared values, despite geopolitical volatility. The South China Morning Post reports a significant decline in Asian students arriving in the U.S., with August figures dropping nearly 24% from the previous year, a trend driven by restrictive visa policies, travel bans, and political tensions under the current U.S. administration. China and India, the largest sources of international students, experienced sharp decreases of 12.4% and 44.5%, respectively, while overall international arrivals fell by 19.1%. This decline threatens to impact the U.S. economy and its leadership in STEM fields, with projections suggesting a potential 30 to 40% fall in new international enrollments, costing billions in local economic activity and thousands of jobs. Experts warn that these restrictions and declining numbers could undermine America's global competitiveness, emphasizing the importance of maintaining open borders for international students who contribute significantly to innovation and research. The Associated Press details the spectacular celestial event of October's supermoon, the first of 3 this year, which appears larger and brighter as it reaches its closest point to Earth. Photographers across the globe captured breathtaking images of the moon rising over iconic landmarks such as Tower Bridge in London, the Duomo in Milan, and a Christian Orthodox church in Cyprus, showcasing its luminous presence against diverse cityscapes and natural backdrops. The supermoon's impressive visual display marked a stunning start to a series of celestial phenomena, offering skywatchers a rare opportunity to witness this natural spectacle without special equipment, as the moon's proximity creates a striking and memorable view that connects humanity to the vast universe beyond. The Australian Jewish community commemorated the second anniversary of the October 7, 2023, Hamas attack on the Nova Music Festival in Melbourne, a tragedy that resulted in the deaths of over 1,200 innocent lives, marking the deadliest day for Jewish people since the Holocaust. While memorial events took place across Australia, the atmosphere was marred by the appearance of pro-Hamas graffiti in Melbourne, which drew widespread condemnation from political leaders and community members alike. The graffiti, bearing slogans like, "Glory to Hamas," and "October 7th do it again," was seen as deeply offensive and a stark reminder of the ongoing tensions surrounding the conflict, with authorities urging anyone with information to come forward. Jewish artists and community members expressed their grief and frustration, emphasizing that such acts do not represent the broader movement for peace and justice, and highlighting the ongoing struggle for communal mourning amid rising anti-Semitic sentiments. Meanwhile, in the realm of international sports, Israel Premier Tech cycling team announced it would rebrand and distance itself from its Israeli identity following protests and exclusion from races due to the ongoing Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The decision came amid widespread protests against the team, which was accused of being associated with Israeli nationalism and military actions. The team's co-owner, Sylvan Adams, stepped back from his role, signaling a shift towards a more neutral stance, as the team aimed to focus on developing cycling talent globally despite the political pressures. This rebranding reflects the broader impact of the conflict on international sports and organizations, illustrating how geopolitical tensions spill over into various spheres of public life, forcing entities to navigate complex allegiances and public perceptions. In the United States, former President Donald Trump emerged as a dominant figure in the diplomatic landscape surrounding the Gaza conflict, claiming to have strong-armed Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu into ceasing hostilities. Unlike the Biden administration, which was criticized for its tepid pressure on Israel, Trump's approach was characterized by overt demands and direct orders, leading many to believe he exerted significant influence over Israel's military actions. This shift in diplomatic style underscored the stark differences between the two administrations, with critics arguing that Biden's more cautious strategy failed to exert meaningful pressure, allowing the conflict to escalate. Meanwhile, Democrats faced internal divisions, with some members like Vice President Kamala Harris advocating for more empathy towards Palestinian civilians, exposing fractures within the party over foreign policy. As the conflict persists, political analysts debate whether Trump's aggressive tactics might pave the way for a more immediate peace, or if they risk entrenching further violence and instability in the region. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email. Stocks to rise and sometimes shiver. Economy goes up and down. In this game, we wear the crown.